Okay, the next interview. There is no office tour, but there is an interview, of course, in this case, and I'm very thankful for that, of course, because you came to Riga to make the interview and also some other business, I think. If I talk about you, you are Aušra and the CEO of Peerberry, a very new platform, but I like it, as you know, yeah, and the design and of course the profit. It's about, I think, 12% per year return for me as an income, as an investor in peer-to-peer lending. But maybe we can start with a short introduction on your own, whom we are talking to.
Sure. So I suppose the viewers already know what is the P2P. But basically, Peerberry is an alternative investment marketplace which offers, as you mentioned, 12% and plus return on investment by using cutting-edge technology. So we offer investors to invest in consumer loans originated in non-banking sector lenders across Europe. And I should point that all loans listed on Peerberry are secured by bank guarantee, which gives the safety for your investment. And from the beginning, the main our goal was to optimize processes and its management. So just to say in few words, make it simple.
Okay, very good. We will look a little bit closer to it through the interview, of course, but maybe you can just say some words about yourself.
Myself, okay.
Will be also interesting for the users, of course, to know the CEO, what is your experience, and maybe you can just tell us your complete name, because I wasn't sure how to pronounce it, and I don't want to make a fool out of me right now here, so maybe you can do it on your own. I'm really sorry for that.
So, you're pronouncing well my name. My name is Aušra.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it's Aušra, and my career started when I was studying at university. It started in investment bank in Lithuania. So from the beginning of my career, I am working something with the investments. I was working in this bank for almost 10 years. The main position for me in this bank was credit risk officer. But you know, working in such bank, the idea of the bank is investment bank, colleagues are working with investments, so sure, I was involved in all this process, buying, investing, and so on. So after I finished with the bank, I worked in the same position as credit risk officer in Aventus Group, which is one of the main loan originators at the moment at Peerberry. Working here, born the idea to create a platform. So here is Peerberry, and almost for already 8 or 9 months I'm working here.
Okay, great. So maybe we can just talk a little bit about the Aventus Group. I think we know this name. What is the connection to it?
It's not any connection. So the shareholders of the Peerberry and the shareholders of Aventus Group are separate, separate entities.
I think I saw the Aventus Group already as a loan originator at Mintos. Is that possible?
It was when I started working in Aventus. Yeah, we started. We tried. We were working, collaborating with Mintos, but just for a few months.
Okay, and so the Aventus Group, what do they now? They are...
No. They started at the end of 16. Yeah. And then ended.
So there is no more Aventus Group?
Aventus, the loans are selling only at Peerberry.
Okay, so they are now a loan originator for Peerberry, of course.
Yeah,
okay, just I forgot about that. Sorry, you know, I just asked back because there is so much information the last days for me, so I can't remember all names of the companies. So okay, the Aventus Group is just a loan originator, of course, and before the refinancing at Mintos, and now they are working together with Peerberry. Okay, now I have it in my mind. Okay, great. Okay, so we already talked about the average interest rate, I think, but maybe there is another question in connection to the place we are right now. We are now in meeting at my hotel, of course, not my hotel, the hotel I live in. Other people would say, oh, are you the owner of the hotel? No, of course not, but thank you for coming here, of course, but maybe some viewers might ask why don't we make an office tour like in the other videos? Maybe you can just tell us about this.
Yeah, this time it's easier for me to meet you here. Next time I promise I will offer you to come to our office, but in the nearest future, the main our office will be not in Riga but in Vilnius. So that's why the reason we are meeting not in the office. So
yeah, because I'm not in Vilnius.
Yeah, you're
so
not in Vilnius.
It's my fault and not yours. Yeah,
Riga.
of course. Yeah.
So,
okay. Great. So
time.
if you want to visit the office, of course, I have to come to Vilnius, and it will be no problem to make an office tour whenever. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, great. Just to give a feeling also to the viewers that it's possible to visit you in the office. Okay, then maybe we can continue, Miss. What kind of loans do you offer?
At the moment, we are offering short-term loans, as I mentioned, issued in European Union, in Poland, Czech Republic, and Denmark. But soon we are arranging everything, and long-term installment loans will be available on the platform, as well as new loan originators, not only from European Union. We are looking to the other areas, so there will be more possibilities investors to invest and diversify the portfolio.
Okay, so your business is a little bit to compare to the one of Mintos, I think, because you work with loan originators. You don't do it in-house, the lending, you're just the platform, the marketplace for loan originators, as well as, as for the investors, good for diversification, of course, I think. Okay, so maybe we can continue with the questions from the Aktien mit Kopf community. Of course, you have loan originators, but maybe you can also answer something about that. Regi asks, if an investor gets a 10% rate out of it, how high is the interest charged to the consumer who actually has to pay back the credit? So I think it's about the spread between we receive as investor and the consumer, of course, the borrower has to pay.
Yeah, the loans are originated in different countries for different companies. They have different conditions in-house, but basically the loan originators we are working with are charging the borrowers 250% plus annual interest rate. So it's
quite a spread
enough,
between
enough room for covering the funding costs through platform and other operating costs for the company.
And of course default loans or bad debt loans as well, because of the buyback security. That's what I think the investors think about, if there is enough spread just to
so the interest rate
make it work
huge.
Profitable. Yeah.
If we imagine for short-term loans, it's really huge.
Short-term loans, maybe does it mean in days? How many days is it? Like 30 or?
At the moment, the longest period is up to 45 days.
Okay.
So from 7 days to 45 days.
Okay.
With a bullet repayment at the end.
Okay, so that's also what I wanted to ask next, maybe about the repayment. So it's always at the end, but it's about 30 days in average, maybe, or something like that. So it's some kind of monthly income, of course, and I also watched it on the peer-to-peer platform with my own, in the Peerberry platform with my own experience, that I can get out monthly income with it, a pretty good income. Okay, then maybe we continue with the question from Tuan. He has some questions about, at first, maybe the break-even of Peerberry. What can you say about it?
Okay,
when will you break even?
Yeah, we are quite a young platform. We started activities only at the end of last year. It was the beginning of November. So I predict that the break-even we will reach next year. Can't say it will be at the beginning of the year, in the middle, because it depends how rapidly we will be growing, how many investments we will need to support the growth, but I suppose that next year will be the break-even for Peerberry.
Okay, that sounds good, of course, and gives me some better feeling for the platform. The next question from Tuan is, how do you evaluate the loan originators?
Yeah, we have a strict internal procedures for loan originators' due diligence when they are coming to join the platform. Of course, as performance tracking after they have joined. So it's a huge procedure to put on board the loan originator, and it's a lot of key performance indicators we are looking and then evaluating. So, for example, I can say that it's very important to know what is the total debt and good loan portfolio ratio and so on. So it's a huge procedure just to provide to investors possibility to invest in good
so you're really behind it,
stable,
of course,
loan originator.
For the investors. Okay, so the next question would be, if we face an economic downturn, what impact does it have on your company and on the B2B market? What do you think about that?
Actually, in any unlikely event, we have to make all arrangements to ensure that investors will have a return on investments and the loan originators are able to return the invested amount. So again, it's risk management of loan originators. We have strict key performance indicators, and if we are seeing that something going wrong,
in the wrong
not
direction,
as
yeah.
they predicted previously, so we are changing them. We can ask to minimize the debt till some amount and so on. It's risk management. Risk management is very important, and I suppose if the platform will be looking from the side of investors, that the platform should assist them to make secured investments. Everything will be fine.
Okay, so maybe we continue to the next question, and it's a spontaneous question. So I just got it 1 day ago on the P2P Kredite forum, and this is Sasha Kai just asks about something about your newsletter. I did not read it, but to be honest, I can't read every newsletter because I get a lot from a lot of platforms and also from a lot of other investments in the stock market. So I always have to filter some information, and but Sasha K asks, in one of your newsletters you announced that there will be more originators from other countries on your platform this summer. I think we already talked a little bit about that. Which countries do you want to add? Will there be just European originators or also some of Asia or Africa? There's a tragedy going on, I think.
Yeah, it will be new loan originators not only from European Union. Soon we will put on board the loan originator from Ukraine. It's in
cool.
our nearest plans. And also looking further for other participators.
Okay, very interesting. And then the second question is from Sasha. You also wrote about the loyalty program in your newsletter. What kind of loyalty program are you planning about, and which requirements will be there to be part of this program, he asks. Can you say something about that, maybe?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, we are thinking about the loyalty program, but haven't decided yet how it should look at the end. So it's in the process, but we are thinking to start motivate our loyal clients, for example, those who transfer deposits from 5,000 to 10,000. It will be plus additional interest rate X from 10 to 12 again, some additional interest rate and so on. So we are thinking to increase a little bit interest rate for those loyal clients.
So for investors who already have 10,000 in their deposit, it will be as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
So haven't decided upon intervals yet, but yeah, in this summer we want to launch it.
Okay, I will look at those right now. Then Katja Wagner asks some general questions, I think. She asked, for example, what are your expectations regarding the future, next 5 years of P2P in general? So not on your platform specific, just general.
Yeah, I could answer it shortly.
Yeah.
A huge motivation for me, like a CEO of the Peerberry, is the fact that I see a huge potential in future for the company, as well as all alternative marketplaces. So no doubt I am thinking only positive, and waiting a great
me too.
future for for all the platforms, not even only Peerberry.
I think so too, because it's just at the beginning. I think because it's as I told in the other interviews, but it's just honestly my opinion. Yeah, I think at least B2B is much smarter for both sides, for the investor as well as for the consumer, for the borrower. And there is much less costs between, because you just have not only, but at least you have an intelligent software, and this software does most of the work. In traditional banks, for example, employees will have to do, and that's much more expensive. So you can make a better offer for both sides maybe in future, and also it's much more comfortable to do everything online and smart and so on.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So that also goes to the loan originators in this case, of course, because we are only on the investor side with Peerberry. But I think it's my opinion as well. So you also answered, I think, the question about your company, but maybe we can also go a little bit more into detail, future plans like hiring employees, spreading to other loan originators countries. I think we covered it already, but maybe you want to say something about employees. How many employees do you have?
At the moment in Peerberry are working 5 people.
Yeah.
Me plus 4.
Okay.
I do not have huge plans to have a lot of employees. As you mentioned, I think that the marketplace should be a fintech company where basically almost 100% of the work is done automatically. So if there is a moment when I am thinking I need more people, I'm starting to think what I have to change to automate to make it easier, effective, and then so on. So there is no huge plans to have a lot of people, and it also gives better interest rate to investors. Yeah,
because you don't need to pay the employees, of course, and that's what I'm interested in, at least, to be honest, because, for example, in my case, I already live mostly from the income of the B2B loans, so yeah. I hope you do good work, because otherwise I am not able to pay the bills, Yeah, but
the goal is to buy this hotel,
No, not really. Then we have to. Then we have to do a lot of work, I think, in the next days. Anyway, but no, what I'm talking about. Sorry. A little bit distracted today. So, yeah, exactly. What I was talking about and what I wanted to talk about is, after I will continue with the question a little bit later. But what I also like about Peerberry is, because you said, okay, it's just 5 people working there, but there is still a good contact, a good investor relations. Because I can remember the first days of Peerberry, I was one of the first investors, I think. So, some kind of family feeling to Peerberry, because I was just there at the start. And whenever I just wrote a complaint or whatever, you just answered on your own, and it's really good feeling as an investor that you know there is the CEO who takes care about it. Of course, one day when there are more investors, you will need a team behind for sure. But I think there's really good contact to Peerberry, and I hope you keep it like that.
Yeah, we keep it like that. There are some kind of questions where people are transferring to me. And I think it's good, because I also need Peerberry to build as friendly, not so straightforward and
yeah. Then we continue, I think, to the next question from Katja. We are still in this regarding the future and regarding the next 5 years questions, your expectations. And she asks, I think, also generally, just because she wants to know what you think about it as a CEO, of course, of a fintech company, about the Baltic economy.
Baltic economy. Well, it's like all European economy. Nothing special. Nothing.
Will it grow the next years? You think?
What?
Will it grow, or will?
The P2P? Or
no, the economy in general on the Baltics the next 5 years.
I believe as it is doing year by year, so I do not have any feelings that something can go wrong. So, and basically, if we are talking about business of P2P marketplace, it's not just the Baltics, because we are selling loans issued in some other countries.
There's a good diversification. Anyway, even you are, I think, on planning like Asia and so on. So
we are looking there how
even
there is a
different
situation.
Continents.
Yeah, especially legislations for loan originators concerning consumer
So maybe we can also talk about the countries you are invested in from the loan originators, or you plan to be invested. Maybe you can mention some countries. What do you think about the economy of these countries?
Again, it's at the moment it's Poland, Czech Republic, and Denmark. So it's also European Union,
yeah.
without any signs that it could go down and so on. And just there is a risk, like always with loan originators, that it could be some changes in legislation concerning consumer lending and so on. But this risk there is everywhere.
Yeah, of course.
So.
But maybe we can also do the question from Katja: how does the due diligence work? What are the main criteria for adding an originator to the portfolio?
So we already talked a little bit about that. True. So it's a huge procedure. We are looking, for example, I can name financial situation. We are looking to the management of the loan originators, shareholders structure, internal procedures of client verification, risk management, granting, collection, really and so on. So we should get a full picture of all the processes, of all the situation, of all group situation if it's a holding company. So, as I mentioned, we want to ensure that we are working with those loan originators who are financially strong, who can take the debts and pay the debts back. So.
Okay, great. Yeah, then I think we can go to some final questions. Maybe, I like the platform Peerberry, really. I also like the design, of course, but the most important thing, of course, is the security of the investment and the interest rate, to go sure. And of course the support and the people behind. But for diversification, it's important not to have only one platform in any way, because you never know. Even like people talk about Mintos, for example, but also Mintos can have a problem. You never know. Yeah. Are there any other platforms you would recommend? Maybe at least 3 to invest.
Peerberry.
Peerberry, second
Number
Peerberry.
1 Peerberry, second Peerberry, third Peerberry.
I thought like this, yeah, but maybe you can say some.
From my practice, I believe that I am the investor of all the platforms in the Europe, just to see how the concurrents are doing.
Sure, yeah, why not?
I believe that everybody is doing that, and we have in Peerberry many platforms also. But the platforms which I liked, actually, it's Mintos. I started with Mintos at the beginning when they just launched the platform. Sure, it's Mintos because of a lot of loans, a lot of loan originators to choose, mortgage loans and so on, a lot of types. So yeah, it would be Mintos, Peerberry. Don't forget Peerberry. And the third, I prefer the platforms who are marketplaces, actually, who are not selling only their loans. So, for example, Viventor also. And yeah, all platforms which we have in Baltics are good. It also depends. You want secured investments, you want to invest in real estate, and so on.
Yeah, sure. Okay, then we proceed to the next question. I think it's one of the last questions. Of course, we don't give any investment advice, as I always said in the videos, just to go sure. But I think everybody knows that it is his own decision where to put his money and where to invest, and you have to think about it in any way. Yeah, but I think our viewers might be interested in how a CEO of a P2P platform is invested on himself. Yeah, what's your investment strategy? Are you invested in stock market, real estate, or maybe you can give us just some information about that?
Yeah, as I also mentioned in the beginning, I worked in investment bank in Lithuania. So the beginning of my investing started, I suppose, 12 or 14 years ago. So yes, I started with stocks, bonds, then tried forex and a lot of different things, pension funds. So actually, yes, at the moment I have some shares, I have pension funds, I have some funds in the management companies, And sure, I have alternative investments, P2P, just no any bitcoins. Everything other is covered.
Everything except bitcoins. Okay, I see. Yeah, so that's also an interesting message, I think. So maybe some viewers might be interested to sign up right now. I will put the link in the description below, and yeah, I think it's time to say thank you for your time. Thank you so much for all your efforts.
Thank you for offering the possibility.
And also thank you to the viewers for watching this video. I would be interested, what are you thinking about? Maybe you can just make a comment under the video. What are you thinking about the P2P platform Peerberry, and what are you thinking about P2P in general? And time to say goodbye.
Bye.